So, hi and welcome to my vlog number 5, our second to last vlog. And we'll be talking about the movies Amistad, The Cause, and Django Unchained. And Amistad was really an amazing movie. It started off with slaves on ships who overtook Spaniards when they were taking them from Cuba, and they ending up in America, and then had to be tried in court but as property instead of as as free people, even though they were from Africa. And the treaties clearly stated that they couldn't be taken and used for slavery because they were not born in the United States or in Cuba or any other country that participated in slavery. Basically what ended up happening at the end is John Quincy Adams ended up getting to the case. The case got retried 3 times, and the African people were set free to go back to Africa, and they won the case. John Quincy Adams said some very inspirational words, quoting from the Declaration of Independence, and also speaking the words from the slave, from the man represented as a slave, and it really just was an incredible movie. We see a lot of stuff about how slave trading and auctions and the property, and there's incredible cinematography in the film. We see a lot of culture integrating within this other culture, so it's kind of like weird that they clash. We see them being very confused about Americans and religion and the way they dress, and they're introduced to a new language and new concepts and treaties, and they don't really fully understand it. So also the concept of African culture we see also being presented within this movie, within all the movies actually, but especially in this movie because they were from Africa. They talk about how if someone gets a debt or something, they're a slave to make up their debt, but it's different because they don't punish like the Americans do. And anyway, the other movies, The Cause is a film by Ken Burns. It talked about how documentary was about the fear not being able to have slaves within the cotton fields. It was a very academic movie. It talked a lot about slaves within the cotton fields and had a lot of battles and pictures, and had a lot of went really into dates and specific stuff. It had not as much sentimental and emotional persuasion like Amistad or Django Unchained did. There was no humor behind it. But overall, it was a really great movie as well. I enjoyed it, but probably just not as much as the other movies. But it told how the history was, in 1861. So, overall, still a great movie, just not my cup of tea like the other 2 movies were. Because the other 2 movies were more sentimental to me, and Django Unchained had very humorous moments. Django Unchained was amazing. His journey of being a slave and getting out of slavery and ending up working for this German doctor who's giving him a chance at a new life to find his his wife again, and then having to deal with the master who tells him that he's just like any other slave, even though he's not. He is a free man, and he represents himself in a culture that's not used to seeing a black man on a horse, or not used to seeing black man dressed so nice. And him learning about white culture too, because he doesn't even know what certain white words are, positive, like the German doctor asked him, are you positive that's the man we have to kill? And he goes, what does positive mean? So he has to be explained a lot of and he has to learn how to read, and he basically has to educate himself so he can understand the world he's put in. But at the end he gets his revenge, and he ends up killing the men who wronged his wife and wronged him, and he ends up killing a lot of white people who did bad things and murdered people because he ends up becoming a bounty hunter with the German doctor. At the end, his wife is go free, and he sets a ton of slaves free. And overall, he's like a vigilante, and just the humor in the movie, especially the movie when she's like, say bye to the woman, and she says bye, and then he shoots her, made me laugh so hard. I just love the culture within the movie, African culture represented in these films, even though there were some touchy issues about slavery that, are not always, are sensitive topics, not always easy to watch. I think all these movies are movies that people have to watch so they're informed, because a lot of people within our generation are not. Overall, just thank you for watching my vlog, and have a great day.